Hi, Carlos. I will call you Superman again. You just flew in.
I did.
Just in about 5 seconds we had to go.
Just made it, just parked. It's
Stuck in
the
traffic.
editing was really tight on this scene. Just made it in.
Just made it.
Yeah, speak of a hard day's night.
Hard days
Of
Friday.
work, hard days, yeah.
How are you, by the way, Carlos Camacho?
I am
psychologist and
Yeah.
stuff.
Keep going. No, just kidding. I'm fantastic. What about you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic as well.
Good. You know what? Words are only reality, according to some philosophers.
Yes.
So even if you don't feel it, you say, I am fantastic. Once you say, I'm so-and-so, your brain
Yeah.
believes you're so-and-so.
That's true, isn't
And if you're not well, then you're not well. Of course, we're never fantastic, literally, but once we just have to put it out there, even with our own thoughts, we have to stay positive because the brain picks up on it and it's real. This is science. It's nothing airy-fairy. What we say to ourselves is very important.
Because your brain will say, oh, well, I'm not supposed to feel fantastic. I just feel okay. If you say, I'm all right.
Yeah. And just, it's like an actor. You just get into it and the brain will follow.
Good on you, Carlos. Wise words, as usual.
Oh, well, it's nothing new, but it's just have to remind ourselves to do it, that's all.
That's right, and straight off the top of your head as well. You're clever. Today we're going to chat about we're so much more than our appearance, aren't we?
We sure are, Deb. We sure are. It's that, you know, the body and the mind, the body and the soul situation, it's a really, really ancient debate, isn't it? And it's wonderful. Look, us humans, we hope all cultures and all peoples from thousands of years ago, even, and I suspect even to come, we hope mostly, but we actually believe that there's more to us than just our body. There has to be. That's what people say.
There has to be. There really has to be, doesn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's our human brain. It's also, look, strictly speaking, it could just be it, right? I mean, you could say that's it, but it doesn't make sense, does it?
Doesn't.
And there's something else about it, and so there's many words for that, and that's something we're going to talk about, I suppose.
We are, yeah, because we're like a vehicle, really, aren't we? Our bodies. If we were just a soul, we wouldn't really be able to recognise each other properly. We wouldn't be able to touch and cuddle and be love, like physically, with our loved ones, would we? Well,
that's right. Like the traditional concept of the soul is that it's immaterial, right? It doesn't have matter, and you could call it the spirit or whatever you like. But if it is true that we have a soul, and obviously it is based mostly on faith and on science at this stage. Yeah. Although, as we know, a lot of people may know that when people pass away, they immediately lose 21 grams.
Yes.
And they say that the soul may weigh that, and it could be other things, of course. But what I believe is that it's open for discussion, and whatever we find ourselves that can make our own lives meaningful, that's what's important in this case. But we find that even people that aren't dualists, that we call in philosophy, that they don't believe in the body and mind, they're just materialists.
Yeah.
They still agree that there are certain things that we can't explain, like when we hear a beautiful piece of music and it just affects us. Where does that come from? Where do we feel that?
We feel it in our soul.
Yeah, because it's hard to measure. You can't measure that with matter and with science and with ultrasounds and all these other things. And so it's a very interesting subject.
And it's being talked about more with near-death experience as well. And, you know, the soul rising out of the body, that even some doctors see when someone's dying in an emergency situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of witnesses that talk about these things. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not within the realms of science to study that.
That's right.
But it's still, I think I'm a true believer that, you know, we have the physical world, physics. That's why we call it physicians, people that study physics. But I also believe that we have to study metaphysics, which is the things that we can't see. And whether those things are occult or or maybe spiritual in nature, that's a different matter, you know, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, I think it's interesting to know that there are a lot of things that we already know we can't see. Like we know atoms exist.
Yeah.
We can't see them with a naked eye.
That's right.
But with certain tools you can. So I believe that eventually science will catch up. Objective science, that is, traditional science, and go further into that realm, because it's mainly based on experience at this stage, but that still doesn't mean that it's less important.
That's right. And it's a lovely feeling, and it's a lovely thought to hang on to as well, that we are more than just our physical body.
That's exactly right. That, you know, so you're given this vessel, like you said, and that opens the door to many things. Like, who gave it to you?
Yes.
And where does it go afterwards? And so what happens to the non-material aspect, the soul, for example, where does that go? So it is linked to many other, it is linked to many other, it opens a lot of other channels for us to be able to maybe go through this life more at ease, knowing or believing at least that maybe there's more. And what a wonderful thing to tell a child that, you know, grandmother's soul is in heaven watching over you. That's
right. That's beautiful, isn't it?
It's a wonderful way to come to terms with mortality, isn't it? I think it is marvelous. Now, whether it's true or not, it's not me to say. You know, I have my own personal ideas, but I think it's very interesting that people across the world have a very similar view.
That's right, and even most religions too, or some of them anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, almost all religions, in one way or another, talk about this as a passage, us as a vehicle, and where we go eventually. That might be different, and the things we may have to do to get there may be different in certain religions. But all of them look. Most religions, and even things that aren't religions, that are based on a religious idea, try to give the individual hope that while this is temporary and you may be suffering now, there may be something to look forward to. Later on.
Very true.
So enjoy, but then we've got to turn that around and say, okay, so is this life worth living then? Yes, even more so.
That's right.
Because out of everything we know that this one does exist. So,
and we need to look after our bodies, and also, you know, our appearance as well. There's so much for young people, especially on social media. You know, you have to look a certain way to be accepted or whatever, but everybody's unique and beautiful, and we should all love ourselves in that way. Teach the kids that too, if we can.
Oh, definitely. I mean, individually speaking, look, people have struggled through that for centuries, right? And teenagers have more so, and we've all been there.
We all have been.
That's right. And we have to play with the cards we're dealt with.
That's right.
So we can't choose our height, we can't choose certain features and so forth. And so, some people are luckier than others. They've been dealt with some great cards, but I'm a true believer also that there's a balance in the universe, and what you have a lot of, you may lack in something else, because that's the only way nature can work. If you look around and you see people that seemingly got everything, you find that there's something lacking. And a lot of these people would exchange that in a heartbeat for everything else they have. They might have good looks, they might have the height, they might even they have the athleticism, but it doesn't give you the meaning to life. Sure, it opens doors and it makes your life very differently, without a doubt. And that's always happened, and it always probably will. Because the visual is very important. As soon as we meet someone or we bump into someone, the first thing our brain does is to make sure that we're safe, and we judge by the way they look, unfortunately. But as we grow older, we start breaking down those biases and realise, and once you travel, Deb, and I know you've been around as well and met lots of people, you realise that everyone's the same.
That's right. And the beauty shines out from within.
99% is the same. 99%. We're even 96% have the same chromosomes than chimpanzees, let alone each other. And so when we meet someone that looks different, it's only superficial. It's only that little thin bit on the end of the skin.
That's
Everything
right.
else is exactly the same. And more importantly for me as a psychologist is that what strikes me is that their hopes, their dreams, their fears, that is the same everywhere.
Okay,
People want the same
with
things.
everybody.
They want to have a comfortable life. They want to be able to feed their children. They want to be safe. They want to be in a loving relationship. They want to be able to just live their life just comfortably without too major things in their life. They're just enough.
Yeah.
And most people are really like that all around the world. They just speak a different language, and they have they might dress differently, and that's about it.
That's right. So don't compare yourselves with other people is probably a good thing, isn't it?
That's a good
You're
start.
beautiful as the way you are.
And it's how you carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've met a lot of people that carry themselves brilliant, and their personality just bursts out, and everyone wants to be around them because they're happy, they're funny, they're charming, and kind. They're generous, they're intelligent, and they're broad-minded, which is a beautiful virtue to have as well. And after a while, you forget what they look like.
That's right.
It's their aura, if you like,
and their
for
beauty
another
from
word,
within.
their soul that just penetrates through. And that's why I think there's something there to look at. And this is a big subject, Deb.
We're going to talk a bit more about this next time, aren't we, Carlos?
Oh, we've got a long time with this one. I love this subject.
I love it. Well, thanks for coming in. We better stop right there. Stop right now. It's a good song too. That's the Spice Girls.
Yeah. I heard the Spice Girls before when I was running in here.
Two becomes one.
Yeah.
Body and soul.
Body and soul. There you go.
Well, thanks, Carlos Camacho, wonderful psychologist and philosopher. We'll talk a bit more about philosophy next time, won't you, Carlos?
Yeah, we'll get into what some of the great minds said about the soul, which is very interesting.
Good on you. And you chose a really good song from Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah, I love this song. It's so rock and roll, and it's such a fun song. Like, if you knew how to play the guitar, this is one of the songs you'd want to
soul.
play. Yeah.
Here it is. Thanks, Carlos.
Cheers.
See you next time. Thanks, Carlos.
Cheers.
See you next time.